Welcome, Pirate fans, to the Winter 2020 PAC Meeting. And PAC stands for Parent Athlete Coach Meeting. And we usually do these in person, but certainly this year is a different year, so we are trying to do this virtually. But nonetheless, I have a lot of information that I'll provide with you, as you can see on the PowerPoint. And we'll go through sort of our normal stuff, and then we'll get into our COVID-related items that will certainly impact what we do this winter with our activities. My name is Greg Garman, Activities Director here at Crookston High School, and other people that you'll come into contact with and talk to quite a bit are Robin Reitmeyer and Kayla Snyder in the front office here, and their phone numbers are listed there. As we go through activities, we feel that activities are of great value to our kids, and studies have shown that our student athletes tend to have higher GPAs, better attendance, lower dropout rates, fewer discipline problems, and increased confidence and self-esteem. So we feel that our activities help enhance the overall student achievement and are a benefit to our kids. Usually I would introduce our coaches. I have their names on the PowerPoint here. You can see who's coaching what team that your student athlete is involved with. Boys basketball, it's myself, Greg Garman, assisted by Jason Tanquist, Brett Brendan, Lon Boyd, Nate Lebarski, and Kevin Weber. Girls basketball, Darren Zimmerman, assisted by Taylor Christensen, Emily Samuelson, Brandy Nesseth, Jamie Kressel. Boys hockey, head coaches Josh Hardy, assisted by Connor Morgan and Sam Melby. Girls hockey, Tim Moe, Emily Meyer, Stacy Olson, and Nick Biermeyer. Wrestling, Wes Hansen, and a plethora of other Pirate coaches. And our dance coach is Grace Espinoza. Our speech coach is Brandon Adams, and he'll have help from Phyllis Hagen, Gay Wick, and Colleen McRae. Our one-act play advisor is Beth Carlson. Our knowledge bowl advisor is Caitlin Stegman. One thing that I've incorporated the past 7 years is what I call the Pirate Way, and that's sort of a guide for how we are going to act as we have our activities going on, and we want to pride ourselves in being first class in everything we do, how we host events, how we travel, how we dress, how we communicate, and how we behave. And let's be the class of Minnesota programs, and I want our programs to be built on respect and pride and hard work and determination, and built on high expectations on the playing fields and in the classroom, and on being a student athlete. Always operate and perform with this in mind, and that is the Pirate Way. Some housekeeping info I'll talk about on the next few slides: our fees, our eligibility, and our new website that we have, and our website where we keep our schedules. Participation fees for grades 7 and 8, it's $75. Grades 9 through 12, it's $125, $188 for hockey. We do have a family max of $500 or $275 for fine arts. And if you're unsure, please call the office, and Robin or Kayla will be able to tell you if you've reached the family max. And if you do need help paying a fee, please communicate with me in a timely manner before we get started, and we can figure out a plan to help you with that. Registration for all of our activities are online, and we'll have the guide sheet online on our school website. The website where we go to register is what you see here, www.crookstonactivities.com, and we need you to register before the student begins participating. Coaches are able to view this in real time on their device, and we ask that you please complete by the Thursday before you begin practice. Do not wait until the first day of practice, or you will not be able to practice. If you do not have a current physical, it will not allow you to register, so please try to take care of that before you try to register. Our first days of practices will be as follows. Dance starts November 9th, boys basketball November 23rd, boys hockey November 23rd, wrestling November 30th, girls hockey November 30th, and girls basketball is December 7th. Most of them are off by about a week, other than girls basketball really got delayed with the jumbling of the seasons in the fall, and volleyball starting late and so on. So most are within a week or so. Girls basketball is about 3 weeks late. When you go on to sign up, the information sheet that you'll see online is also what I have on the next few slides on the PowerPoint here. This shows you how to create an account if you don't have one, and then you'll have a personal login. They'll go through the terms of use that you'll have to agree to. You'll put your personal information in, add your student to your account, and then keep following the directions as you go. Then you get to register for your sport or activity that you're playing, and there will be a drop-down list that you'll see of all the activities that we have for the winter seasons, and then there's some options as to how you go about paying. We would prefer you pay with a credit card, but if you must pay with a cash or a check in the office, you can select that function as well. And just keep following the guide here, and like I said, this will also be on our school website. And then you'll at the end get a payment receipt for your activity that you signed up for, and then you should be good to go. If there's any question with that, please call Kayla in the office. Eligibility. One of the big issues we have every year is attendance of our kids, and it's very simple. You must be in school all day to practice or play in a game. If you arrive late because you weren't feeling well, you will not be able to practice or play. If you're tardy to class by 10 minutes or more, that means you're absent. That means you do not get to participate that day, whether it's practice or a game. And there are excused and unexcused absences. They are defined in the student handbook. One new item that we have this year is that if you miss for a medical appointment, you need to bring a doctor's note upon return to school. That's all we will use to gauge whether you were at the doctor's or not, is a doctor's note from the doctor's office. So please bring that with you when you check back into school. Academic eligibility, we have two different things that happen. We will have some mid-quarter checks as we go through the winter season. And at mid-quarter time, if you have one or more incomplete, you will be ineligible until passing. And if you have one or more Fs, you will be ineligible for 2 weeks. And this begins the Monday after progress reports are due. And there's a sign-off form that your student athlete must get signed off from the teacher and myself. And this form is in the office. At the end of the quarter, and we'll go through a couple of these for quarter grades, an incomplete, you'll be ineligible until passing. If you have one or more Fs, you'll be ineligible for 2 weeks, but this begins the week of your first contest, not the first day of practice. So that's a little bit different, so people always have a tough time with that, so please pay attention to that when the grades start coming out. And in all cases, you need a sign-off sheet. We have some other eligibility issues that we see once in a while. We have some chemical eligibility that's dictated by the high school league, and along with some hazing and harassment. And for the offenses for these, the first offense is 2 games or 2 weeks, whichever is greater, and you can see the progression there. If you happen to be in a case where you have an eligibility issue with any of these, you must continue to practice and finish the season for the violation to count. Once you sign the paperwork, the commitment is yours. It's year-round. You must follow the high school league's rules for staying eligible. So please think about that as you sign the paperwork. And if you're ineligible, do not suit up for the game. We have 2 categories of activities. Category 1 are all the high school athletics and speech, and Category 2 are all the other extracurricular activities that we offer, excluding athletics and speech. A student who participates in both Category 1 and 2 activities shall serve the penalty for a violation in both Category 1 and 2 activities in which you participate. If we get into a case where we investigate and a student denies something and later they were found to, we find information that leads us to believe that they were actually in violation, then there will be an additional 9 weeks to serve for the penalty. If we have ineligible kids, we've changed the way in which we deal with them in terms of travel and being a part of the team. Students that are ineligible for any reason may not travel with the team or sit on the bench at away games until the penalty has been served. Students that are ineligible for any reason may attend home games and sit on the bench, but they may not dress in that game, in their game uniforms, until the penalty has been served. So that changed last year, so this is our second year with that, so please pay attention to that if your student athlete becomes ineligible for any of the reasons mentioned before, whether it's academics, chemical, hazing, harassment. Lettering requirements are given by each coach for each sport. The student handbook says that if we violate high school league bylaw 202, 205, or 209, that will prevent the student from lettering during the season in which they serve the penalty. And any student who is proven to be in violation of those bylaws just mentioned, they will not be eligible for lettering or any other postseason awards for the season in which they begin serving. Any senior who has had a violation during their 9th through 12th grade year will not be eligible to receive senior awards such as Athlete of the Year, 3-sport for 4 years, etc. Lately, vaping has been a big issue. Students may not use or consume, have in possession, buy, sell, or give away products containing or products used to deliver nicotine, tobacco products, or other chemicals. So that is sort of a new one. So please talk to your student athlete about that and just be careful. We do have a new website. When you open it up, the Crookston Public Schools website will look like the slide that I have up here now. You will find information on our activities in that website as well. One thing that we do use is called 8A. It's where we schedule everything, and that has a function called Notify Me. And when you get to the page that I have here, you'll not only see our schedule for each day of the calendar year, but you'll also see a Notify Me button on the top right. If you click on that, you can sign up yourself to get notified when I make a change for weather, for COVID issues, or whatever might happen where we have to change a bus time, change an event time, cancel, postpone, move to a different date, whatever. You will get an automatic notification from me as soon as I hit send the notification button. This is a great feature to use, so go through and pick out the ones that your kids are involved with, and anytime there's a change, you will get them. It allows you to receive notifications of events, allows you to receive, like I said before, changes in times, locations, whatever. And the website that you'll use is the region8mn.org. All of our schedules are there. That's where I put all of our schedules. So please use that to know what is happening with your particular team. Other things that I will now talk about are communication process, sportsmanship, social media, travel, roles that we all play in concussion testing. A lot of times when people get upset, they will call the high school league. The high school league will simply tell you to call me, so please call me first. Our communication process, basically, we have a 4-step process. If there's something going on, we need your athlete to talk with the coach or advisor of that activity first to try to resolve it, and then if that doesn't work, we'll have the parent and the athlete meet with the coach or director. But please allow 24 hours if something happens at a game and you're upset. Please allow 24 hours so we have cool heads talking with each other. And if that doesn't work for you, then request a meeting with myself, the coach, the parent, the athlete. And if that doesn't work, then request a meeting with the principal. Some keys to this, please don't contact the coach until 24 hours has passed. The student must be present, and then you're entitled to your opinion. We just ask that you don't negatively affect the opinions of others. And then there's a difference between making decisions and the mistreatment of kids, and a lot of times our coaches are making tough decisions on like who's playing and who's not playing, and that's part of the process, and you might not agree with it, but it's a tough call that all of our coaches have to make. Sportsmanship, we ask that you do support our athletes, our teams, our coaches, be positive and respect the visitors. And social media, every year we have some kids get in trouble with this. Just be aware of what media they're on, what they're sending out, what they're receiving, how they're using different websites, their cell phone, texting, and all the different social media that kids are now using. Please have the discussion with your kid and remind them to be very smart and cautious when they use that. Travel to practices, oftentimes we have sites other than our high school here that kids have to get to practice. It's the responsibility in most cases of the individual athlete to get there. Once in a while we are able to run a bus to the arena and or to Highland for practices, but not always are we able to do that. Just know that when a student transports himself or herself to or from a practice, the parent or guardians of that student shall assume all the resulting liability, and the school assumes no liability. Please talk to your athlete if you have any concerns about how they're getting to practice. Transportation from a game, we do have a request to travel with a parent from a game. It is in the office. It's the green sheet. It's also on the website under activities. Please have that to your coach one day prior so the coach can get a bus manifest done. And actually, up until this year, we've encouraged kids to ride the bus home. This year, we actually sort of encourage kids to ride with their parent home to alleviate crowding on the bus with COVID issues. We all have a role to play to make each sport season successful, and it's a partnership of many people. Pick one, and which one will you be? Will you be a parent, a coach, an athlete, one of our administrators, or a referee or an official? And they're difficult to get, so please go easy on them when they're working our games for us. Focus on your role and let others do theirs to their best of their ability. Now for the COVID-related issues. Each team has a safety plan that the high school league has put out, and our coaches will have that and execute that plan. Transportation, we will follow the MDH and CDC guidelines. Sport-specific protocols from the high school league will be followed with each of our sports. Masks will be required when kids are not in the game, or when they're traveling on the bus, when they're not actively participating in practice. They need to wear masks. Fans will also need to wear masks as well, and we ask when you come to our games that you have them and are wearing them properly. Fans will not be allowed when games are played at Highland Elementary School due to very limited seating. We felt it's just easier and better just not to have any rather than trying to decide who's going to be at the games. Fans will be allowed at CHS per guidelines, and right now the guidelines are 2 per participant. Fans will be allowed at the Crookston Sports Center, 2 per participant, and then up to 250 because it's not a school-owned facility. And I'll talk more about how we're going to deal with tickets for the hockey teams that play out there. And I have the asterisk on the 2 per kid, and that's going to depend on the number of players on our team. Ticket prices are going to be $5, so change is easy. We will not make change, so we ask you to bring the correct change. We will also not have any season passes this year. Tickets for basketball and wrestling, which will be held at the Crookston High School. As per guidelines, each student athlete, each participant gets 2 tickets in essence, and we are going to have you sign up on a document. It will be some sort of a Google document or a Drive document, and you'll have to do that by noon the day of each contest. This will be emailed to each family, so we're going to need to ensure that we have accurate emails for you in our Skyward student information system. And then we will print that off. Your names will be on a list at the door. When you come to the event, you'll drop $5 in a bucket, and our ticket taker will check your name off. So we will not be pre-selling tickets at CHS. We need you to fill out the form. Please do not call the office to get a ticket. And one reason we're doing this, theoretically in the winter, we could have thousands of people throughout the winter coming into the building to try to get a ticket. So we need to change that due to COVID and try to limit the access that we have to the building. So this will be new. So basketball and wrestling are going to be a little different than hockey, which I'll talk about in a minute. Again, each kid will get 2 tickets in essence, and you're going to sign up on a document. You're going to put the names of who's coming to the game next to your participant's name, and then we'll check you off at the door. Tickets for hockey. Each participant is going to get around 4 tickets, and that's going to depend on the size of the team. And there's going to be a sign-up document, like I just spoke of for basketball and wrestling. We'll sign up by noon the day of the game. Your names will be checked at the door, and you'll drop $5 in the bucket for each ticket when you enter. And at the Crookston Sports Center, we are only going to be able to use the main entrance to the Sports Center, the one on the south side. So emailing is going to be very important. You're going to need to check emails, and we need to make sure that you have an accurate email on file here, and we'll have our coaches help us with each team. So think about what email you're going to want to be using and checking and working with, and then make sure your student athlete knows that, and we'll get that through the coaches to Robin and Kayla in the office, and they will be sending out the documents to sign up for your tickets for games. And then the last thing, we do have Pirate Boosters, which are a great help to us, and we will start that drive again in January. We ask that you please consider joining, as this really benefits our teams in terms of equipment that the school maybe cannot get. The boosters supplement us very well, and we appreciate the work that they do for us. So please consider that when you see that coming in late January. And in conclusion, be positive in your actions and words, be supportive of all of our programs, communicate appropriately, have fun, and always represent Crookston High School and the community of Crookston in an excellent way, the way that I call the Pirate Way. Thanks for attending the virtual Winter 2020 PAC meeting, and I look forward to seeing a few of you anyways at games this winter, and I just hope that we can continue to play and let kids get at least part of their season in with the reduced seasons. At least they get part of it, so keep washing your hands and wearing your mask, I guess, is what everybody's saying. So keep doing that so that our kids can continue to play. Thank you.